From the Detroit Free Press, it's Wednesday, December 2nd. Here are today's top stories, presented by Bush's Fresh Food Market. Bush's has over 4,000 Michigan products, including the freshest fruit and vegetables, meat, seafood, and baked goods. Stop by one of Bush's 16 locations for the personal service you expect from your neighborhood grocer.
This is Nisa Khan for the Detroit Free Press. An election lawsuit by Sidney Powell, President Donald Trump's former lawyer, cites a witness who claims to have seen something strange with the votes counted in Michigan's Edison County. Here's the thing. You can't point to Edison County on your Michigan hand. Because, well, there is no Edison County in Michigan. There's an Edison Township in New Jersey. There is an Edison, Ohio. But there's no Edison County in Michigan. Sidney Powell has filed several lawsuits in key election states where President-elect Joe Biden has won. Many of these lawsuits contained unfounded conspiracy theories. Attorney General William Barr said today that there's no evidence of widespread voter fraud during the 2020 presidential election. The Michigan board certified its own election November 23rd, showing Biden winning by approximately 154,000 more votes than President Donald Trump.
For the Detroit Free Press, I'm Kristen Seamus. At least some Michiganders could get their first dose of a coronavirus vaccine before Christmas. Biotech company Moderna and pharmaceutical giant Pfizer both are seeking federal approval of their COVID-19 vaccine candidates. Moderna says its vaccine is 94% effective at preventing COVID-19, and it keeps people from getting severely ill. Pfizer reports its vaccine is 95% effective. Although safety reviews continue, so far no serious concerns have been identified for either vaccine. The most common side effects reported are injection site pain, fever, fatigue, muscle aches and joint aches, and headache. If the U.S. Food and Drug Administration grants authorization for the vaccines, at least initially, supplies will be very limited. Public health officials are now prioritizing who should get immunized first. In Michigan, healthcare workers would be first in line, followed by people who live and work in long-term care facilities and nursing homes, said Dr. Janae Caldoun, the chief medical executive at the state health department. The hope, she said, is that the general public will be able to get vaccinated by spring.
I'm John Wisely of the Detroit Free Press. Grosse Pointe Schools have long been considered among Michigan's best, but recent turmoil in the district now leaves it short of one key ingredient: students. The district appears to have lost about 480 students between the spring and the fall. Enrollment in Grosse Pointe Schools has been falling by about 100 students a year for a decade or more. So what prompted this year's bigger decline? There are different theories. Some new board members say parents were upset by the closing of 2 elementary schools at the end of the last school year. The closings also moved 5th graders into middle schools instead of the traditional elementary schools. Others say the district's failure to provide in-person learning this fall prompted some families to switch to private schools, which did offer it. Whatever the cause, the decline has hurt the district. It could cost Grosse Pointe Schools more than $4 million a year in state revenue in the future. Incoming board members say they hope to reverse the trend by reaching out to those families who have left and to try to win them back.
I'm Susan Tompor, and I'm a columnist at the Detroit Free Press. The hot holiday gift, the Sony PlayStation 5, is turning into one incredibly hot property for crooks and scammers. A string of scams are popping up on eBay, Facebook, Craigslist, and elsewhere relating to the buying and selling of the PlayStation 5. Some consumers who order online are only seeing an empty box arrive or nothing at all. One Michigan consumer tried to sell the gaming device, which retails for about $500 for a whopping $1,200. But the seller, who even arranged a deal in front of the Troy police station, ended up seeing that PS5 stolen by men pretending to be buyers. The seller didn't receive a dime, and the thieves roared off in a Dodge Charger. One deal on eBay is simply brazen. If you read closely, what's for sale is a photo of the PS5, not the actual gaming device. eBay is working to take down those ads. Police now suggest that you use extreme caution when trying to hook up with someone who claims to be buying or selling the popular PlayStation 5.
I'm Kirkland Crawford with the Free Press Sports Department, and a look at the Detroit Pistons. They are back, going to work, as training camp tipped off Tuesday. The expectations are low in Dwayne Casey's third season, mostly because it's the first season for new general manager Troy Weaver. He worked very hard in a short amount of time to turn over this roster and try to build for the future. But one of the holdovers, in fact, the longest tenured Piston right now, is Blake Griffin. He's coming off knee surgery that prematurely ended his last campaign. He says now he's feeling great, and he's not worried about questions over whether he's on the trading block.
Trade talk doesn't really get. I've been doing this for too long for that to bother me. I think we have a great relationship. I have a great relationship with the front office, and we have an open line of communication. So some things that people may have heard when it comes to trades, I didn't really spend a lot of time listening to. That wasn't really anything that I paid much attention to.
For more stories from the Detroit Free Press, be sure to check out freep.com. That's FREEP.com. If you're a fan and want to support our quality local journalism, subscribe. Go to freep.com/special offer.